Welcome back, everyone. I'm Setharoth, and as you can see, we're taking a bit of a divergence from our usual Skyrim content because Baldur's Gate 3 came out. I've actually had early access for like 3 years, and I was just waiting for it to get stable enough to use in videos, and now here we are. I'm going to go ahead and do a vanilla playthrough so you guys can see what this looks like without mods. It is definitely going to have mods by the time we do a second playthrough. But right now, since it's brand new, it's really not a good time to be modding because there's still big patches coming out. They're fixing bugs. It's a good time to enjoy the vanilla game and all the options they're in. As I have played early access, I do have some experience with the first act, but then after that I'm going to be flying blind, so we'll see where it goes. We have 3 difficulties to choose from. I did try Tactician for all of like 30 minutes, and I was prepared for the monsters to be tougher. I was not prepared for them to have special new abilities. So maybe we'll leave the modded playthrough run for Tactician, and for now we will just go with Balanced. For our first dip here, we're going to go through the tutorial, which is escaping the Nautiloid, as well as character creation. If you guys ask in the comments below, I can... Oh wait, their video. Let's go ahead and soak this in. Yep, that is super ominous. Why walk when you can levitate? Not good, not good, not good, not good. This is called foreshadowing. That is so not good. Oh yeah, mind powers. Those suck. Wow. You got to hand it to Larian Studios. Like, I know Bethesda, the Elder Scrolls games, always drop you in at like the worst possible moments, right? You're about to be executed. You are in prison. But that particular opening is pretty dark. Okay, so let's see. We have the option of resetting the tutorials. We might as well reset the tutorials for those of you that haven't actually gone through all of this before, so we get the pure vanilla just starting experience. So we're going to go ahead and turn on the pop-ups, and we'll walk through some of this. Let's dive in. Okay, so one of the interesting things that they've added in from early access is you can actually play as characters that would be companions in the game. So if you find a companion you particularly like, you can actually play through the entire game as that companion, which is really creative. That's cool. They didn't have that in Baldur's Gates 1 and 2, which I can rant about at a different date because I have played them both. They were amazing, but that was back in the 90s. This is so much better. Obviously you have your custom character, because why wouldn't you have a custom character? Now, the optimal party build that I'm going to be shooting for, I usually go for a wizard in my class. The game is like anticipating what to tempt me with. However, because I want my character to be also the one leading the party, we're going to go with a charisma caster. Charisma-based spellcaster, because I want to be good at the talky talk. And to be fair, we will already have Gale in our party, who is a perfectly competent wizard. So that's how we're going to run with that. So we're going to, I have tested this out in early access, and it worked out quite well. If you're starting a new game, I actually recommend picking your class first. Back to custom. There we go. Pick your class first, because then everything else kind of follows suit. Your class determines the foundation of your character, what you're going to be good at, which attributes are going to be most important, and so on. So we're going to be grabbing a warlock. He's going to be our party leader. Warlocks are charisma casters, so we're going to want to make sure that we pick a race that has that particular bonus. That is one thing they have kind of tweaked a little bit. Let me see if they still have the... Yes, they do. Okay, so there is the abilities that are added to. There's bonuses based on the race that you pick, but they're not actually showing you right here which of those attributes are enhanced. So you either are familiar with D&D or you just check when you pick a race that seems appropriate. Your charisma casting races are tieflings as well as half-elves. If this is anything like what I'm used to in D&D, I have played an unhealthy amount of 5th edition, which again is a conversation for a later day. Obviously, if we were going more RP, you could pick any race as a warlock, and just bear in mind, all of these classes and all of these races means that Baldur's Gate 3 has a ridiculous amount of replay value, because you can respec and replace and replay in whatever combination of these two things suits your preferences. But for us, we're going to be sticking with the warlock. So we have the option of the tiefling and the half-elf. Just to make this simple and quick, we could obviously go with human or a couple of other options, but just to give you an idea of what I look for when I'm building the character is once I figured out the class, then I figure out what the primary stat is, in this case charisma, then I pick one of the two races that is charisma based. So we can choose between the half-elf, which has the option of additional proficiencies, enhanced dark vision, and Fey Ancestry, which gives you additional help against being put to sleep and charmed. And we have base race speed of 9 meters per round, which is normal. Or we can go with Tiefling. Tieflings, again, have 9 meters of speed, dark vision of 12, and then Hellish Resistance. They have resistance to fire damage, which can be helpful in certain circumstances, particularly if you're setting stuff on fire and trying not to blow yourself up. Half-elves, we might go this route, because the way I'm going to build this guy is fire isn't really going to be too much of a concern for the most part. And he does get extra proficiencies. So I think we're going to go with half-elf, plus I can make this guy look a little bit more like my actual pretty face, as opposed to this guy. So with the half-elf, races have sub-races that add in an additional perk. For elves, you get to choose a different, well, actually the feature is a little different each time. Wood elves get extra speed. Drow half-elves get dancing lights, which is useful for using for helping party members that don't have dark vision. But we're going to be going with the high half-elf because it gives you an extra cantrip. The Firebolt cantrip, as a warlock you will already have. We won't use this very often. We'll use this more when we want to ignite something, which there will be plenty of opportunities for down the road. You will see what I mean later. Oh, wait, there we go. Now we can actually pick the cantrip. Oh, that's going to be... okay, so we have our high elf cantrip. Let's pick one. So I'm tempted to do Firebolt because that will allow us to ignite stuff. There's stuff that goes boom, and being able to to make it on fire is useful. But my wizard will already have that. So we're thinking about what the party is going to be capable of, and then how best to reach out and improve on the party as a whole, rather than just making one character that can do stuff. So I've decided instead to grab Shocking Grasp. This is a useful one because it's a melee cantrip that removes a part of a turn called a reaction. It prevents the target from being able to react when you try to walk away. So this is a good option if things get too close into melee range. This character is not going to have a whole lot of armor for a little while, so I want to make sure that he has a way to get out if things get a little too close for comfort, which is likely to happen. Now we've picked the Warlock class. It comes with 2 cantrips and class features. We're definitely going to be taking Eldritch Blast. That's like my main reason for getting the Warlock, is what Eldritch Blast can do, particularly once you get to level 2. I am tempted to keep Blade Ward because it helps in an emergency against physical damage, but further down the line, with the build that I have in mind, we'll be able to cast this as a bonus action. And that will allow us to charge in and do damage while also benefiting from the protection of Blade Ward for short, brief instances in time. It is also tempting, however, to get Minor Illusion, which allows us to lure enemies into a group. However, I am going to be making sure that a different party member already has that prepared. So we will be able to deploy that by someone else in the party. So we're just going to go with Eldritch Blast. For our subclass, so there's two different ways to play D&D in general. One is someone that goes in for the RP. So they already have a story in mind for the half-elf, and that determines the class and the cantrips. I think I look at D&D more like a giant chess game. So I'm picking a build and a party composition that I'm hoping will solve the largest number of problems as easily as possible. So for me, it's more like chess and less like playing pretend, which is why I'm picking the Fiend. Now, the Great One has some fun stuff for getting into people's heads, which is also useful. And the Archfey has stuff for crowd control, which is also super useful. Sleep is a fantastic level 1 spell. But the Fiend is going to be very interesting because it has this thing called Dark One's Blessing. You gain temporary hit points every time you kill something. So it's kind of like healing every time you kill something, which is going to help us throughout our entire playthrough. Then we have our 2 Warlock spells to choose from, and this gets a little... So we're definitely going to want Hex, because that actually adds damage to each of our Eldritch Blasts, and those will be adding up once we get to higher levels, big time. It can be tempting to grab something like Hellish Rebuke, but remember, with Warlocks, they get a smaller number of spells that they can cast per short rest, whereas a Warlock or a Wizard or a Druid will have a lot of spell slots. Warlocks don't have very much, so you want to shoot for stuff that, in my opinion, stuff that has concentration, which means it lasts more than one round. It can last an entire encounter. Getting things that last an entire encounter means my spells work longer. Rather than just doing a single burst of damage, I have something that could last, for example, until the end of the next long rest. So we're going to pick Armor of Agathis. Most Warlocks, if you're careful at staying outside of melee range, won't need this. This is armor that does damage if someone hits you in melee range. But this character eventually will be going into melee as well, so we got to keep that in mind. Now, backgrounds have been very much simplified compared to what you can do in D&D with backgrounds. This is mostly just to give you additional skills. So given that we're doing a charisma caster, so we want to be capable of persuasion, for example, but we're also magic, so we want to be able to also use arcana. Because, we're a magic user, why would we not want to use arcana? It's kind of tempting, actually, to go something like criminal or urchin, because, well, criminal gives you deception, which, again, is a charisma skill. So let's see what we can do if we go... noble will give us persuasion. History is not bad. Now, once you go down here, you can also change your skills, not just your ability points. So now we're going to fine-tune this a little bit. We want arcana. We have history, which is still decent. And we have persuasion. So I'm going to switch intimidation for deception. Being able to lie convincingly to people, I will use that more often than I will use intimidation. Just me personally. So that's the skill set we're going to go for. And then for our ability points, we already have 17 charisma. And then 14 con. Let's see, let me tweak this a little bit. Okay, so we've maxed out our charisma. Warlocks don't really need a lot of intelligence. Dex makes us harder to hit. Constitution gives us more health. Wisdom makes us more aware of things that are out of sorts. Yeah, this should be good. Okay, lastly, once I've got the character built the way I want, we're going to adjust his appearance a little bit. And this... Actually, I was looking at stats for Baldur's Gate 3, and players spend, hours and hours just at this section of the game, just tweaking things to come up with just the right build that looks the way that they want. Actually, I kind of like this head is a little more my speed. Let's maybe give him a bit more of a tan, kind of a weathered appearance. That'll be fine. We have an assortment of scars to choose from. Let's see, can I find something that'll look good on my pretty face? Let's see. Well, that's not too bad. It's kind of beat up, but not, really obnoxious. Like, that just screams like, I have a troubled childhood. This one's like, I've been through some scrapes, but I'm fine. We're not going to worry about maturity or freckles or pigmentation. Body art could be interesting. Let's see. I think there was one I used before. Oh, geez. That does kind of scream Fiend Warlock, doesn't it? The flame over the third eye is pretty cool. Oh, geez. I doodle on myself in my sleep. That's what that says. I like that. Yeah, let's just go with some cool little runes over one cheek. That's cool. Let's see. Yeah, black's fine for the tattoo. Although we could try and grab something that kind of reflects the eye color a little better. Although it's hard for that to look. Nah, black's fine. Okay, we're not going to worry about piercings, eyes. Elf blue is not bad. Oh, that's kind of creepy looking. Yeah, I don't mind going for a more realistic looking blue. Oh, geez. I almost said proceed. Be careful. Confirm means you're picking that particular selection. Proceed means you will actually start the game. So don't accidentally hit proceed. You will regret it. I don't think this is a guy that's going to be using a lot of makeup. I think vanilla will be fine. I do want to make sure that I find a nice, let's see. It's a good warlock hairdo that we could use here. Good warlock hairdo. Maybe something that's a little more... That's kind of a Greek hero, right? I think I could go with that. Greek hero, maybe. That's going almost colonial right there. Start using an 1800s accent. Yeah, we'll go with this hairstyle. This kind of reminds me of one of the Nord hairstyles from Skyrim. We don't need to be a bard. Black, red, maybe? Brown hair, blue eyes? Yeah, I'll go with black hair, blue eyes. Make the eyes pop. Why not? Highlights, we can go dark brown. That should be subtle enough. Don't really need to be graying. Do we want facial hair? Maybe just a little? That's kind of a patch. Subtle but not too thick. That might work. Yeah. I mean, we're eventually going to get him a helmet anyway, at which point the face won't really matter. Okay, so that is it for character creation. I recommend starting with your class, figure out which attribute they rely on the most, and then make sure to pick a race that has a bonus to that attribute. I'm sure you can find all sorts of builds online for that, or if you have any questions, drop them in the comments below. I'm more than happy to pitch in my 2 cents. But for now, let's go ahead and dive in and kick this story off and see where we go. I think we're just going to have to go ahead and name myself me, because, hey, Sephiroth is a name that works completely well.
You need a guardian.
Oh, I forgot about this step.
Choose one.
You need a guardian. You know what? I'm a half-elf, so I will pick a half-elf. I already have a, yeah, wood elf is fine. I already have a setup that I used before that I will switch to. Ooh, do we want to give her, like, blood red eyes? That could be creepy. Yeah, it could be fun. We'll give her a little bit of makeup, not a lot. Lip tint, can we get that just a little fuller without going nuts? Maybe we just tweak the intensity a little bit. Oh, that's a lot. Yeah, that's not bad. Okay, oh, metallic tint level. Man, the amount of detail they go into this is phenomenal. Eye makeup color. Like a dark red maybe, just kind of accent her eyes. And then for hair, yeah, I'll be fine. Let's see, let's go with like raven black. And then can we do like dark red highlights? Yeah, good enough. I'm sure she'll probably be wearing a helmet a lot of the time too, because people don't want to get killed. Alright, off we go. Oh, yes, flashbacks. Those are wonderful. Or just like, yeah, we just got inserted. That's lovely. We have a worm in our head. I wonder what that could imply. Oh, his buddy's sleeping on the job? Or dead? Possibly dead. This might be a hijacking. Oh my. You're asking how that thing is flying? The answer is magic. Oh, that is just the start of a very bad day. Can you imagine that guy? Be like, I'm just gonna hit the bell because I have no words for this. There's no point in putting this warning in a text message because I can't even describe this. It's a flying squid. Oh, jeez. Oh, that thing is no joke. Ooh. Oh, that sucks. Looks like a giant snail. Oh, it has friends now. Not friends. Not friends. Definitely not friends, but it's got company. Here's your new sunroof. Oh, that's cool. That's interplanar travel. It's very persistent. Okay, so we portaled away a second time to we don't know where. Oh, this is cool. This isn't from early access. This is new. I skipped this before. Fire. That's a big fire. All right, we are in. Wakey, wakey. Time to kill stuff. Sweet.
Oh, my head.
Yeah, we've got lots of problems in the head. Okay, let's check this out. Our goal is to escape the Nautiloid. We have a little body over here, which has a peridot. I don't know how. I'm sure there's a fancy way to say that, but it's worth gold, so we'll keep it.
Dead.
Always refocus
Good.
the camera. Okay. So we're refreshing the memory on the controls. WSAD to move the camera. Hold down the wheel button on the mouse to turn it. Let's go ahead and have a look at the nursery.
This is the pool that thing came from. The parasite now writhing behind your eye.
Let's try investigation. We don't have a lot of intelligence, but we will try. This is a skill check tutorial. Some dialogue options require skill check. Dice will roll, adds in bonuses from your character, and we see what happens. So I don't have any bonuses to investigation. So it's just a straight roll. And given that I have a massive headache and a worm behind my eye, I'm not paying a whole lot of attention
You
to the
notice
details.
nothing more than meets the eye.
I don't think we're going to be poking at the pool. That seems like a bad idea. I think we can actually shoot it. That's right, and that's why we didn't poke the pool, because it might not want to be poked. Alright, let's move on into the next room, see where we're at. There's the sphincter, that's fun. Some bodily horror going on here. We have a dead goblin with gold. That's kind of creepy when you think about it, because that means the bad guys have no interest in gold. Oh, that's just lovely. I can hear that from here. This is an apparatus that they use to... It's the escalator. Oh, okay. This is where we figure out just how screwed we are. This is a little messy for those of you that have issues with gore.
Yes, you've come to save us from this place. From this place, you'll free us. Please. Before they return. They return.
So you notice it automatically tried a perception check and failed or something. Who am I talking to, a man or a brain?
A newborn. Born new from this husk.
You realize you're talking to an intellect devourer, a minion of the mind flayers who abducted you.
You sound afraid. Why?
The enemy. So many enemies.
I think we're gonna destroy that because I've been kidnapped and tortured, and that thing is not the host. Although my warlock would probably use an energy blast, not the hands approach. That probably was a little excessive, but I guess when you're a fiend-packed warlock, excessive is fine. Nothing on the body? Nothing on the body. Alright, so if you hit the Alt button, that will actually highlight objects that you can interact with. Just like the important
Seems
ones,
simple enough.
not things that are not important. Because I can interact with some of these without...
Doesn't do anything.
Anyway, let's go ahead and calm down. We're going to make sure to check out the room. D&D games, and Baldur's Gate is no exception, reward you for snooping around a little bit and doing some looting. Oh, we have our rune slates and Ithalid records.
A schematic of a Nautiloid flashes into your mind. Nerves, sinews, as much living being as ship.
Yeah, I'd be really impressed if I hadn't been just, like, captured and infected. We have an Eldritch tablet.
1,000 years of humanoid history. Elves, dwarves, humans, and more flash behind your eyes.
Just wonder if I'm the one seeing that, or if it's the tadpole in my head that's just sharing some of that info. Who knows? Alright, moving on. Oh, yes, we are a very unfriendly base called the Nine Hells. There's a small battle going on. Things are going to try to kill us. Ooh, our first compadre. This is how I want every first date to go. That was a cool shot.
Abomination. This is your end.
Not
Your
abomination
head throbs
yet.
and your skin tingles. Visions rush past. A dragon's wing, a silver sword, and a flash of your face seen through the strange woman's eyes.
My head. What is this? Skvar. You are no thrall. Vlaakith blesses me this day. Together, we might survive.
Let's see, what made you think I was a thrall?
We carry mind flayer parasites. Unless we escape, unless we are cleansed, our bodies and minds will be tainted and twisted. Within days, we will be Geich, mind flayers.
That's not good. We're turning into mind flayers? Must be something we can do.
We can do nothing until we escape. That must be our priority. First, we exterminate the imps.
Oh, jeez.
Then we find the helm and take control of the ship. We will address the matter of a cure for this infection once we reach the material plane.
Oh, jeez. Okay. I would have loved to have snuck up on them like you did in early access, but no, let's just run right into their teeth. That's the way Lazael likes to roll. Alright, combat happens in rounds. Each participant gets a turn. That's probably the one main difference between Baldur's Gate and a lot of the epic fantasy RPGs that we've played, is this is turn-based. But I kind of like it because it reminds me more of, turns it more into chess than just a free-for-all melee. Okay, so we have an action, a bonus action, a single level spell slot, and cantrips. So these are our tools. Different, for example, the jump is a bonus action, whereas if I try to just stab something with my dagger, that's an action. So that's how we'll be organizing our options here. We're going to go ahead and open up with Hex. We're going to Hex their strength in case Lazael wants to start pushing these guys around. So that's going to make it difficult for him to produce strength. I'm not really a strength guy. I'm setting him up in case Lazael wants to play. But since he's hexed, I will do an extra 1d6 damage to him on top of what Eldritch Blast is already capable of. So this should be pretty. Well, like I said, very pretty. Notice I got 4 temporary hit points from that because I'm a Fiend Warlock and I just killed something. So extra hit points, not quite as good as having a crazy amount of armor, but it's better than nothing. That burned my action, and my bonus action was used to cast Hex, so I'm pretty much tapped out, so I will end my turn. Then we have Lazael. She's just going to run up, and I think we're just going to do a rush attack on this one. Spear him. Alright, we've knocked him off balance. Not quite sure what that means, but we can look it up. Off balance means disadvantage on strength and dex checks, and attack rolls against it have advantage. Oh, very nice. Oh, this is cool. So the weapon that she's using allows her to also attack as a bonus action. So since she knocked it off balance, she now has advantage, which means the dice roll has a 99% chance of hitting. And there we go. Now we just have one left. Firebolt? Yes, Firebolt. But we went after Lazael, who has the most armor, which is what we want. Now, the nice thing about Hex is as long as I'm concentrating on it, I can actually reapply it to a new target. So at least within one combat, I can really make Hex last by hopping from one victim to the next. Alright, situational actions. I've unlocked an action as a result of another ability, feature, or condition. So it's just letting me know that my Hex, I'm still concentrating on it, so the next time I'm in a fight, I can reuse it. We are going to go ahead and grab all of these items that we can find, because eventually we will find a merchant that will allow us to leave. I think that guy is not dead yet. We are going to fix that. There we go. I'm not a fan of leaving survivors, particularly demonic ones. That just seems like a bad idea. I'm going to borrow a lot of crossbows. We've got ourselves a nice little health potion. Another dead thrall up here. I don't see any chests that we can loot, but a little bit of gold certainly won't hurt. While you're running the tutorial, this is a great time to try some crazy strategies, because at each room you have one of these heal you, bring back your abilities, bring back your spell slots. It's a nice way to
We'll be able to
give
take
you
another
some
dragon attack.
time to
We need to
play
get out before it's too late.
in between rounds, or in between levels, I guess is the more accurate term. We're going to be stumbling through here as much as we can. Arterial mesh. Okay, that's not disgusting at all. It's kind of a strange thing to use for arteries, but okay. We're going to pop open this splinter. We're into the next room. So this is an example of where you can start using skill checks. We can use Arcana to try and read the instructions on this machine.
Unleash.
So this one says unleash.
Aggression.
Aggression. And then I failed to know what this one is. So since we're going to be trying to juice and get as much XP as we can, we're going to do aggression, which actually wakes them up and ticks them off. But you know what? We can still reapply. We can't really help them because they're possessed by those worm things. Not much we can do to help them. They're just gonna and do some fighting, but we've got a machine here to heal us, so not really worried about it.
On the move.
She is a bamf. This is why it's good to have fighters backing you up. In effect. Alright, let's see. Acid splash. Oh, that's not nice. Alright, let's see if we can't get land a good hex. Throw on another Eldritch Blast. Oh, let's move. I'm moving over here so that my path is not blocked. There we go. Okay, now we're gonna loot these guys. We got a little bit of XP from that, which I don't think you would get if you used the other buttons.
Haste.
Alright, we're going to come back to her because I haven't done this before, and there's a slightly easier way to go about that. We're going to go ahead and loot here. Dark Mind, Burnished Necklace. We will need a key for that, which is over here. And okay, here's a neat little trick you can do. We have now entered turn-based mode. You can do this anytime in the game. And you can kind of micromanage which character goes where, which is fantastic for setting up ambushes. We're going to set up a strength hex on that guy, which throws us into initiative because it realizes it's now in a fight. But we're already optimally placed with our tank in front and our spellcaster in the back. And I do a decent amount of damage, so we do okay. Actually, I think I did a critical hit there. 21 points of damage in one hit? That's rare. I know, Shadowheart. I'm coming back, I promise. I need a key. Hey, how about that? There's a key. I think there's one more, maybe two more places here.
How many hosts of these gay infected?
They've infected a lot. A lot. Alright, we got some health potions. We've got a dead thrall here that also has an Eldritch rune. I think that will be of use.
A rune? For what?
Oh yeah, this is gonna be... Might as well give you guys the full experience if you push this button. It's not necessarily bad things happening to you,
As you
but
place
it's
your
definitely
hand on the
foreshadowing.
pod, you hear something. A presence connected to the pod, commanding the person inside to change.
That's what's gonna happen to us in a few days. If we were just started. That is so not good.
Change her. Changed at the pull of a lever. How? If we are not purified, this may be our fate.
Well, if I wasn't motivated to get out of here,
That cannot be our fate.
then I certainly am now. We are going to run. After we extract a certain friend here. Let's see. Yeah, we should be good. I think we have everything we need.
You! Get me out of this taxi! We have no time for stragglers.
But she's pretty. Which means there's time for stragglers. Okay, so we're going to use my Warlock Arcana to try and figure out what this does. Pretty low DC. And we're doing good. Alright.
Warding runes. You feel them drawing energy from the console near to the pod.
Are you satisfied? We need to go.
Alright, let's look for a latch that might open... Oh, no, here we go. I found some sort of key. I think it might free you.
Good. Try using it on that machine next to me. Hurry! Please!
Don't have to tell me twice.
The console appears dormant.
Just socket in the console shaped like the rune, or we can do a warlock. This is a cool thing, like based on your character's background, previous behavior, and class, it will actually give you extra dialogue options, even your race, actually, in certain situations. So it gives the game a lot of replay value. If I were to replay the game as a drow instead of a half-elf, I would get different conversations from different NPCs and stuff. Anyway, we're going to investigate with my warlock powers.
The console hums to life, but what is its purpose? Will it free the captive, or transform her like that other unfortunate?
Oh geez, I hadn't thought of that. That's worrisome. Let's try taking a closer look at the console to figure out whether it is safe, whether we'll actually get around or transform her. And my Arcana +2 barely kicks in to save it. Sweet.
The pulsing glow and organic lines of the device make it seem more like a beating heart than a machine. This device is different from the one that caused the other captive to transform. Perhaps it will open the nearby pod.
I'm good with that plan. Place our hand on the console.
Suddenly, you feel a hideous squirming in your head. A parasite. Then discomfort fades, and another sensation washes over you. Connection. Authority.
Ah, that's such a good twist, because you use it and you get special perks, but it also comes at a price. Which, remember when I said I like playing chess, this definitely starts turning into chess.
Feel the biomechanical brain of the console process your command and yield to it. A shiver runs across your mind. You feel sated.
It's not you, that's the one. Alrighty, let's take that heart. Alrighty.
I thought that damn thing was going to be my coffin. Thank you.
Your mind lurches into her thoughts. Her gratitude is mixed with wariness, because you have a gift with you.
You keep dangerous company.
I mean, she did one shot an imp all by herself, so I'm gonna keep her. Dangerous company is what you need in a fight. That seems appropriate.
Fair point. Looks like there's plenty of fighting ahead. Let me come with you. We can get off this ship and watch each other's backs along the way.
Alright then, let's get going. I'm Sephiroth.
Shadowheart. One moment.
Mysterious trinket. Dun dun dun. Time to talk later.
Finally. Let us make for the helm. We've wasted enough time already.
She's right. Lead on.
This is why I picked a charisma caster, so that when I lead, I can actually lead in a charismatic kind of sense. Trying to lead as a wizard is like, oh look, here's another persuasion check that you are not prepared for. Good luck. Okay, let's go ahead and dive in. We've used the gold key to open the treasure chest. Had some gold in it, so that'll help us out later down the line. Get some nice healing beforehand, and then last but not least, we've got a fight. Now this is the next cool trick to be aware of. You can actually micro which character you're currently using. So I'm going in with
We're
Lazael
nearing
first.
the helm. Once inside, do as I say.
Who put you in charge? I'll trust my own judgment.
Cane yank.
Don't know what that says, but I'm sure it's not complimentary. Anyway, we're going with Lazael because when we tick off everything in this room, I want them focused on her. Because she's the one wearing the heaviest armor. Oh, that's not a pleasant way to die. I need to be quick, but yeah. that would probably be worse. Ripped apart by lots of little critters.
Thrall, connect the nerves of the transponder. We must escape. Now.
Okay, so we have a little boss fight going on here in the corner that kind of sets a timer. We have to get off before that boss fight is over, or bad things will happen. Oh, how about that? I just scored really high in initiative, so we're going to go ahead and... Oh, no, I can just reapply Hex. Ha! I don't have to burn a spell slot. So we're going to go ahead and whip out our Eldritch Blast. There we go. See, adding on Hex gave me an extra 3 points of damage, which was the difference between this thing surviving that attack or not. We're also going to be using him to loot as much as I possibly can.
Swift and lethal.
So we're going to end this turn, switch to Lazael, have her run up in a very aggressive, look at me kind of manner. She did very well as well. Very good. And no, that should do it. And we have Shadowheart. So with Shadowheart, let's go ahead and keep her behind Lazael. We're going to throw a Shield of Faith on Lazael to boost her armor class even higher. So Lazael is going to be set up as a beautiful tank. And since we've got an extra spell slot, why not throw out a Guiding Bolt? There we go. Okay, not a whole lot of bad guys left at the moment. Now, if you'll excuse me, I am the leader of this little party, which means I want all the loot to myself. And because I'm not dealing with human beings, I can actually loot everything, and no one will complain. I'm kind of happy about that. You'll get some nostalgic D&D conversations from me down the road. For example, the first time I was testing this, I got to play as an evocation wizard, which is able to use spells that make everything explode without accidentally hurting your party members. And it was a class that I swore never to play in person anymore because I did so much damage to the other players felt like they weren't contributing very much. You know, when you do over 100 damage in one attack, and then the guy next to you does 8 damage with his sword, the other guy kind of asks himself why he's playing at all. So in order to spare some feelings, I stopped playing an evocation wizard. And I don't have to worry about that, because all these people are computer generated.
Hurry, before they strike!
Okay, let's dive on in here. What do we got? We're going to go ahead and dash, because her armor class is stupid high. I don't mind her running in and attracting everyone's attention.
I'm ready.
And we're going to have our little Shadowheart's going to run up behind her and just throw down some cover fire. That is some really effective cover fire. Got our little boss fight going on. Actually, it's not going well at all for the Mind Flayer. Lazael, really? I give you all the armor class you could possibly hope for, and you still get hit. You still got hit.
Maybe not the best time.
Come on, man. You're the fighter here. You're supposed to be able to handle this sort of thing.
Don't waste a step.
And, okay, let's go ahead. We're going to reapply Hex Strength to health score.
Time to strike.
Lazael can now use Second Wind as an emergency heal. And since it's her turn, I don't think any of these are actually based on a strength check, unless we tried to, like, shove him. I think we're fine with just a lacerate. Never mind. Lazael is not rolling well today.
On I go.
Not at all. And can't quite get enough movement. So we'll just throw out and soften him up a little bit. Okay, at least that time she was able to Boy, Lazael, she's like a punching bag. I mean, it's better than nothing, but she's taking a lot of hits for being the one wearing armor. We're going to grab that caustic bulb, because that might be helpful down the line, along with this void bulbs. Thankfully, it doesn't cost movement to just pick stuff up. And yeah, that's good. I think she'll be able to claw her way through these enemies. Really, 1 point of damage. Okay, there we go.
Act fast.
Shadowheart, go ahead, stabby stab. There, okay.
Take these, or Zarya will have your head!
Alright, now we're just gonna pop ourselves a dash, do a little more looting. Because we're gonna need money down the line for sure. What else we got here? Cerebral Aquarium, just making sure I've got all the loot. Okay, we're good. Can we make it in one shot? Yes, we can. Okay,
The
here we
Helm's
go.
alien transponder. You've made it in time.
That's creepy. That is so not good. Wow, that's cool. I didn't think that that's what it looked like when you're interplaying travel. And boom bada bing. Back to the material plane. Wow, that attack did not go the way they planned. I guess that got me. Awkward. Yeah, this character doesn't have that involved. That spell's what you usually use when you're following your dad. But apparently we got a tadpole, so we're good. There we go. We have survived. We are in
As
the
you wake,
first
the tadpole squirms in your skull.
Check yourself for injuries because I've got a thing in my head.
Other than the infection, you're more or less intact. A miracle, given everything you've been through, but it'll all be for nothing if you don't find help soon. The tadpole is a death sentence, and the clock is ticking. You need a cure.
Alrighty, there we go. Thank you all for joining me on my first dip into Baldur's Gate 3. Next episode, we're going to be gathering our party members and getting ready for the first big fight. Hope you guys are all having a wonderful evening. Feel free to like and subscribe, like the video, subscribe to my channel. Let me know in the comments below what you think so far of Baldur's Gate 3. Wow, okay, those tentacles are like still breathing. Their attention to detail in this game is insane. Anyway, so I hope you guys are having a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next episode. Take care. Bye.